So if you scroll to like my first 10 or 12 videos or something like that, you'll see that I'm sitting in the dark at night wearing this exact Queen shirt, reading from my phone, talking about Supernatural and trans exterminatory radical fascists, as one does. I'm not wearing any makeup and I'm just chilling. And I felt like taking it old school today. Mostly because I was wearing this shirt and I was like, well, I'm already wearing the shirt. Oh my God, my hair is a mess. I had this thought today that I'm like, what if I just accidentally turn into a Supernatural channel again? And then I was watching Nicole Raffy's newest video on, what was it called? Are fandoms ruining your mental health? And I was like, it's totally fine. Like, it's okay because people spend their entire lives obsessing over one thing. And I have been obsessing over this show on and off for, what, 18 years now? If the timing of the when it aired in Australia is correct. I'm just assuming I was watching it in 2005, but it could have been 2006, could have been 2007. It's okay to obsess over one property. It's fine. I don't know why this has me in such a death grip and why it won't let me go. It just won't. It just keeps coming back like a fucking rash, like a fucking UTI. You get it once and then it just plagues you for the rest of your life. Let's watch the episode where Cass has an affair, where it's found out that Cass has an affair. Okay, so this is episode 20 of season 6. It's called The Man Who Would Be King. And yes, there is a little bar down the bottom because I don't want to put this thing full screen. I hate having things full screen.
You know, I've been here for a very long time.
Don't step on that fish,
I heard an older
Castiel.
brother saying, "Don't step on that fish, Castiel.
Big plans for that
Big
fish.
plans for that fish." Let me tell you everything.
So the first time I watched this, I remember thinking that like the graphics in the beginning were so corny, and this fourth wall break where Cass like looks at the camera and talks to me. He talks to me specifically. It was like so bad. And I kind of still feel that way. Like I kind of still feel it's really bad. And the thing is, Ben Edlund, who wrote and directed this episode, did such an amazing job his entire run throughout this show. He made a lot of characters gay. I mean, that's all you need to know. No, he wrote this one episode where this serial killer was in love with a demon who possessed him. Yes, we love to see it. It was such a good episode. That's in season 8, I'm pretty sure. Undercover, anything went. And Ben Edlund also wrote the end, which is probably the best Supernatural episode of all time. A very Cass and Dean heavy episode. And he also helped develop Cass into one of the most amazing characters ever written. And Ben Edlund's reach and his prowess and his legacy is just insurmountable. I don't know if there's been a more prolific or a better writer on Supernatural. Kripke was pretty good. Carver was pretty good. Dab had some bangers. You know, Robbie Thompson. Actually, Dab was fucking awful. Robbie Thompson, Steve Yockey, you know, Meredith Glynn, Nancy Wan, like all of these writers, they're just like absolutely incredible. But I think Ben Edlund is probably the best writer on the show. And the fact that he wrote this episode, I'm pretty sure he pitched it as well, but don't quote me on that because I'm just guessing. I mean, he loved Cass so much, and it really shows in like how well he wrote him. It's just absolutely phenomenal to see this episode. It's like after an entire season of Cass being here and there and not really around and, you know, barely doing anything and having all these like fucking annoying shit happen, and you know, Dean being so pissed off at Cass and then Sam not even really caring about him. Cass was so special from the very beginning, and us Cass girls at the time were very miffed that Supernatural kind of neglected him over these two seasons, season 6 and 7, which were Gamble era, and to have him come back in such a nuanced and intimate and very emotional way, and have someone be able to write him that way and see it come to fruition. Like, this is probably the Cass episode, even if I'm not super fond of it all the time. It's not my favorite episode, but I think it was absolutely necessary for people to get Cass back, really feel like we were validated in how much we loved Cass at the time. It's just incredible. But yeah, I'm just obsessed with this episode, even if it's not my favorite episode. Okay, let's keep going. Oh no. Oh, Dean.
I'm fine. How are you?
I love him.
Just wanted to check in. Is finding him, ripping his head off and shoving it up his ass.
Why is he like
Found
this?
anything?
For some reason,
It's disgusting.
apart from the obvious erotic value,
You got me. You said Eve.
I
could open the
hate
door
Crowley
to
so
purgatory,
much.
Correct.
I did.
I
And I'm
hate him.
confident
He
that she
killed
could.
Meg.
If she was still alive!
That all you're holding, huh?
I forgot about this.
See? The stench of that impala's all over the avocado, Angel. I thought we'd agreed. No more nights out with the boys.
It is like so obvious that like the parallels in. Oh, this is so aggravating because like the way it's set up is like, oh yeah, he and Dean are in a relationship, right? And then the whole Crowley smelling the impala, the impala, smelling the impala all over Cass's trench coat, right? Like, and then of course later on the betrayal that Dean feels at Cass palling around with Crowley is like, it's like an affair. It's so obvious. It's insane that they sorry, I'm screaming. It's like, one, insane that they were doing this at the time because 2011 was very homophobic. We had just gotten out of the noughties. It was still bad, and Supernatural was clinging on to the homophobia of 2005 with both fucking hands, all 10 nails. And the fact that they like pathologically refused for years to accept that Dean was into men or Dean and Cass were into each other. They just refused. It was insane the amount of like backlash fans would receive, and like how the cast and the crew were always making fun of the fans for thinking that way. And it's like, oh my, I can't even get over how risque and what's the word, like brave, how brazen this episode is in basically saying that Dean and Cass are together. The layers to this. Oh, it hurts my chest. It hurts so bad. I think Cass's facial expressions in this are really interesting. Like I don't know if you can see that. It's probably this is a really poor quality download. But like if you saw his expression compared to like here and here, so he's got a lot more expression on his face in these like flashbacks when he was like kind of new to Earth still. I mean, like, he's always kind of alien, so it's just interesting to note that he does look very different and his expressions are quite tame, maybe. He hasn't got much expression on his face, and I think that's obviously it's on purpose because Misha Collins is a fantastic actor. And I'm thinking that it's because, why am I spending so much time talking about facial expressions? Oh, I'm a nerd. Oh, is my hair okay? Oh my god, I can't do this. My face looks awful. I'm gonna put my makeup on. I think what he's kind of doing is like Cass is kind of treading water. I think he's very out of his depth. He doesn't really know what to do because this is a precarious situation. Having this affair with Crowley, even if it's just an emotional affair, but probs they were also smanging, as you do. Because why not? When your boyfriend won't put out. Where else are you gonna go? You know what? If people can be obsessed with fucking Star Wars for their entire lives, I can be obsessed with Supernatural. I don't care. I don't care anymore. I'm so bad at this. I've been putting on eyeliner since I was like 14. It used to be a pencil eyeliner. You remember that? Remember how you used to put pencil eyeliner and do eyeliner flicks with pencil? That is real bad. They are sisters, not twins. There we go. Oh, that put a lot of life back in my bones. Everyone got their tasty little bevy. What was I saying? I was talking about his facial expressions. Yeah, he looks very hesitant and like he's trying to get control, but he knows it's not going to happen because you can't control Crowley. Crowlers. As my wife calls him.
Am I the only game piece on the board who doesn't underestimate those denim wrapped nightmares?
Denim wrapped nightmares. I remember this text post where someone was like, oh yeah, I showed the man who would be king to my sister, and she was like, oh, so the confession's soon, right? Girl, it's 9 seasons away. They really dragged this out for 12 whole fucking seasons when it was violently clear, even throughout season 4, that they were obsessed with each other. Am I crying right now? Is that what's happening? I feel like my eyes are wet. I'm just insane over this. I don't know how to handle it. This is what happens when I watch Supernatural. I'm not normal. I'm still obsessed with this show.
Bulky Bartakamus of heaven, he can make a mistake.
But
Nobody's
Buddy
saying nothing yet.
Bartakamus?
Hard to be loyal, with every instinct telling him otherwise.
I don't know where Crowley is. We can twist again all the way to next summer.
Why? Did you see that? Let's watch it again. Let's watch that again, actually. Let's watch it again.
Instinct telling him otherwise.
I don't know where Crowley is. Are you sure about that?
That's insane. This show sucks so bad. This show sucks. Ben Edlund, I owe you my life. But this has really had Cass look at Dean like that. Whole episode playing us for fools. They're just playing us for fools. That's so cool.
Myself. I don't know anymore.
Literally, I have to know what Friendland said to Misha to make him look like that. Wide-eyed waif. Poor little meow meow. When Cass talks about how each soul generates its own heaven, there are some people who share heaven, and then at the end of the series, like right at the end in season 15, they talk about how Jack and Cass redesigned heaven so that there wasn't one heaven for each person, but there was one heaven and everyone got to coexist in it. Except that Dean had to live down the road from his fucking parents. That's horrible, considering all the problems he had with Mary before she died. And then all the problems he had with John for his entire life. Loved him and hated him at the same time. Like the complicated relationship that Dean had with John.
An autistic man who drowned in a bathtub in 1953.
You're autistic.
Freedom is a length of rope. God wants you to hang yourself with it.
Forgot about that line. That's
First
insane. I think that's so funny, especially because Supernatural started in the Bush era and it's very much a product of its time. I'm actually working on a Supernatural video right now. It's insane. It's like the supernatural video in the vein of Jenny Nicholson. It's gonna take a while. This show needs to calm down. It's dead. It won't die. Somebody pointed this out, but it was like, why, when do the black characters on this show rebel, it's treated as this like horrible thing? Like Uriel, when Cass does it, it's totally fine. In this show, we kind of see how the angels suck as well, and there's only like a few good angels. The Wiener Hut dude, what's his name? Alfie. Alfie? Samandriel. He's good. He's a good one. And Cass is a good one, obviously. But there's not very many angels who are actually very good. Like, I understand the hypocrisy in saying that, like, we should wipe out humans because angels are so much better. And then Lucifer would obviously just wipe out any angels who disobeyed him. Just saying that humans are bad, it shouldn't be treated as like the worst thing ever. But of course, it's like natural for this show because it constantly affirms that humans are better than everything else. Like, that's what it constantly affirms. It constantly affirms that humans are better than ghosts, vampires, werewolves, angels, fucking Rougarous, like whatever. And it's like, babes, no. How do you think ghosts are born? They're born out of violence. It was exhausting watching 15 seasons of Supernatural constantly saying humans are the only good ones because angels are flawed and vampires are evil and monsters are monsters. And it's like, humans are monsters. They have a couple episodes devoted to that concept. I don't actually blame Raphael for wanting to watch some blood sport. I have a toasted sandwich with me, so I'm going to eat that. That's what you're meant to do. Men are meant to spit blood.
For a brief moment,
Society, if anyone taught Misha how to fight.
I guess we could put away the kryptonite, right?
He just wants to fit in so bad.
God, you're losing it.
I'm fine.
Yeah, you're the very picture of mental health. Come on. Well, I got news for you, kitten. A whore is a whore is a whore. With all possible entendres.
He's such a slut, honestly. I love Crowley.
No interest in that.
Wait, I hate Crowley.
Why not?
Apparently the British hate lines more than anything.
Not Dean. He's retired and needs to stay that way.
Not Dean. Oh, God. He's so pathetic. He is my pathetic little meow meow. My sopping wet beast with his backwards tie. He's just so in love with Dean, and they just refused to acknowledge it, accept it. They refused to accept it for another 9 fucking years. Oh, it hurts. It hurts so bad. My theory is that had the pandemic not forced a huge break between, episode, 17 of season 15 to episode 18 of season 15, it was like a 6-month break or something like that, where Cass confesses, then I fully believe that they would have decided to make Dean go look for Cass in the empty. That is just my opinion. But the producers got cold feet because they're little cowards. The fact that Jensen was like, I don't know about this, and called Kripke, and Kripke was like, just trust the producers, just trust that they know what they're doing. No one ever trusted you, Kripke. You freak. Only producers trusted Kripke. The audience never trusted Kripke. The audience knows what's up, okay? Oh, Dean's face. Holy shit. That was rough.
You know who spies on people, Cass? Spies.
It's the stupidest thing he's ever said. Oh,
Son of a bitch.
the moment his heart
Let me
breaks.
explain.
Oh, that scene.
You should have come to us.
Claw into our sides and then hold us back.
He's so evil.
You, God.
Visiting him in the middle of the night while he's sleeping.
The angel proving Bucky
How very
from the
Edward
house.
Cullen of you, Castiel. Okay, so the thing is, let's break this down. Cass goes off to heaven because he wants to be with his friends and he wants to lead the angels. Well, not necessarily lead the angels, but he wants to free the angels and kind of make them understand that they have free will and they can choose for themselves. Dean goes off with Lisa because he thinks that that's what's going to make him happy, whereas it doesn't, because he really wants to settle down. That's like been his aim from the very beginning. He's always wanted to settle down. He's always wanted to have a family, but of course it doesn't work out with Lisa because he's gay. Lisa is a woman. You know, the fact that he ends up raising a family with Cass and Sam in their horrible little bunker, that's what he really wants, is to just have like a partner like Cass and settle down with a kid and, you know, just be a dad. He just wants to be a dad. So, I mean, we even see that in like the first episode of season 6, where he's like showing Ben how to fix cars and stuff, and he like goes to little league games and, you know, all this kind of stuff, and he really just wants to be a dad, and that's incredible. He makes an amazing father. Cass is struggling so bad, but he doesn't know how to reach out and say anything because he took all his social cues from emotionally constipated Winchesters, and he doesn't know how to reach out. Because he doesn't know how to reach out, it just gets more and more entrenched in this he just gets more and more entrenched in this debacle with Crowley. And of course, because Dean hates Crowley, and Crowley is the one person with power who exists on this level above Dean, above humanity, that Dean could never get to, he kind of feels very betrayed that Cass would make a deal with Crowley and go to Crowley instead of coming to Dean. But Dean has in no way made it clear to Cass that he can come to him and, you know, that they can work together to do this, because all he's done this entire season is just look out for Sam. Cass feeling like his only purpose is to be useful to the Winchesters, or his only purpose with regards to the Winchesters is to be useful. Going to Crowley and feeling like he can actually be powerful, Crowley making him feel powerful, literally and figuratively, because Crowley will submit to Cass at the end of the day. Crowley knows that Cass can just wipe him out with a, you know, flick of his wrist. Dean will never admit that Cass can end him. Like, in fact, he kind of wants Cass to throw him around. And we see that in season 5, that episode, the point of no return or something? Cass beats the shit out of Dean in an alley. Dean rides that high for the next, 11 seasons, 10 seasons. It's insane. He wants Cass to demolish him one way or another. So Cass can never completely control Dean, and Cass doesn't want to control Dean and never will force Dean to do anything. Whereas Dean is kind of wants Cass to throw him around a little bit. It's just like an absolute bitch to him constantly. Crowley knows that Cass is a threat to him and will at the end of the day, snarkily and bitchily, do what Cass says. Now this is the point where Cass is finally realized that what Dean wants doesn't have to go. You know, Dean is constantly trying to control everyone around him, and it's good that Cass has always stood up to Dean. And this is the first time that he's actually done something that Dean disapproves of. So it's a bit of growth for Cass. And Dean is naturally heartbroken. And it's, a bit of a turning point for both of them, for Cass to finally make it on his own. That was intense. That's pretty much all I have to say about that. Dean and Cass are in love. Thank you for coming with me on this journey of self-discovery and pleasure, I would say. I enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed it. To the 6 people who clicked on this video, congratulations, you've won nothing. You've in fact lost. You've lost a lot of time. Yeah, see you later.